Hey everyone, you're watching the Esperanza 243. Today we are going over Long Live Menavia Part 27. This is actually pretty exciting because it's the last packet of the book. So I'm trying to be careful about this. And also after this video, I have some thinking to do because I kind of want this to be an even 30 video for the playlist, but according to what I wrote in the packet, I have 32, so I'm going to have to go over it, figure out if I am going to keep it an even 30 or not. Also, some other things to mention before I start doing the recap. I finally watched the Penal RTX stuff of the creatures. Oh my gosh, I am blown away at how professional they can be and still be that hilarious. I mean, it's almost like watching the Dr. Horrible Comic-Con panel. It's hilarious. Or I think it's Comic-Con. Some sort of conference, convention, whatever. Anyways, we finally get to see Spoon's face. Oh my gosh! He comes up as the questionnaire, he comes up as one of the, people who line up for the questions. It was mind-boggling. I never thought Spoon would look like that. Mind-boggling. And also, they got 2 new creatures. I'm sure they were just making a hilarity of it. Really, I think they were trying to say that Immortal is now a creature in their group. And they also added Water Bottle as a creature. It's hilarious how they did that. And it's funny because I was actually watching, today I decided to watch a live stream that Sly did the other day, and he was saying that the water bottle creature was actually something they've been trying to do for a long time, or announce it, I should say, because they've been wanting to do that for some time. I think it was supposed to be a joke or something. I don't know. We'll see how it happens when they try to get water bottle involved in their videos and stuff. It's going to be pretty funny. I'm suddenly thinking of Space Ghost. Yeah, why don't we just go ahead and do the recap. There's 2 breaks in this. Yeah, there's 2 breaks in this. So in those 2 breaks, I'm going to be talking about Camp Nano, if that's alright with you guys. Because I got a lot to talk about. Part 26 is basically about Nicolau. That's Nicoulau. In case you guys haven't been watching the other Long Live Menavia videos, and I'm sure you have. Otherwise, you're not watching this. It's very confusing to watch this stuff out of order, considering how complex I can make a book. Anyways, part 26 is about Nicolau finishing his conversation with, or not conversation, more like argument with his birth parents. And a few days later, he talks to Caprice about what happened, and she says she wants to go ahead and visit their birth parents one more time, or at least he will. She's meeting them for the first time. And they try to get their parents to actually say who they are without making it obvious, Anyways, that's where we are. Let's start reading. Mariona was too afraid to open it. Frederic took the envelope and took out the 2 letters. He became confused, as did Nicolau. Caprice smiled. "One of the letters is from my mother. The other is from Monsieur Chevalier. Her father read the letter from the monsieur. His eyes widened. It can't be true, he whispered. They disappeared. His wife looked at him. He gave the letter. She read it at lightning speed. I had twins? Nicolau couldn't help but nudge Caprice. He was excited the woman admitted she was Mariona. She stared at her daughter. Her husband nudged her. She looked at him. You spoiled everything. No one is supposed to know who we are. Honey, our children are the exceptions. Tears filled her eyes. She is our daughter. Frederic sighed and eyed the young man. He is not going to tell anyone. She said he is a nice man. Caprice widened her eyes, realizing Mariona had not said her name. Once again, she forgot to introduce herself. She sighed. I apologize for not telling you from the beginning. My name is Caprice, she said, smiling wryly. Also, Nicolau is not only a nice man, he is my brother, your son. Frederic became cross. Would you mind giving me proof? He hissed. Oh. Would you mind giving me proof? He said. There is no proof, Nicolau sighed. Signor Pujadas will back me up. He was there along with Monsieur Chevalier, when we were born. Mariona became excited. I shall talk to him then. He crossed his arms. His wife gave him a look. Frederic, is it so hard to believe he is our son? He came over without warning. He tried to get us to tell him who we are. He yelled at me. What was I supposed to do? Welcome him to a family he caused to be distraught? He glared at her with a hot look. Caprice nudged her brother. He looked at her. She motioned her head toward the front door and mouthed words to him, saying it was time to leave. He nodded. He was curious, sweetheart. Something must have caused him to come over, wanting to talk to us. The brother and sister got up and silently left their parents' house. Look at what you are doing. They are leaving. Leaving. Frederic continued glaring at her. She sighed. She was disappointed when her children left. She became even more disappointed. Her husband turned cold. Okay, so, a slight little break. Time space should be above my head. What was I going to talk about? Oh, Camp Nano. I am so excited about Camp Nano. I don't know if you guys know this, or you should know, considering I've been saying it constantly since the beginning of July. I love Camp Nano. I love NaNoWriMo. This is just amazing. I actually found this great site. I'm not going to say it because there might be some copyright issues of saying their name on my channel. I'm not positive. But I'm just going to say that they helped. This particular site, you can type in a name, any name, click either female or male, and hit the search button. It'll give you a complete description of personality, how they deal with their life, all that jazz, including, like, you know, health problems that they probably might have in their lifetime. And it's really cool because I actually looked up my name, my middle name, and one of my nicknames, and it is surprisingly accurate. It is just impressive. So I decided to use that for my characters in my Camp Nano book. The temporary title for it is Rebecca's Worst Christmas Present Ever. I know I'm going to think of a better title because I actually tried Googling some titles that I've thought of, and they're all taken, surprisingly. Actually, not surprisingly, I should say. Anyways, so one of the health problems for my main character, Rebecca, is that she has like nose, ears, eyes problems. So and headaches. Headaches was one of them. So I decided that after her second walk in the snow, which was during a blizzard, she gets sick. So her family tries to figure out how to handle it. And that's where I'm at in the book, which is really interesting because earlier this week, I thought I was done. I thought I was really close to finishing the book, and I realized she needs more visits, to the Christmas dimension. And that's what I'm calling it, the Christmas dimension, rather than having, Santaville or Santa's Workshop, whatever. I don't want to go the stereotypical way with that. Because you know me, I don't like using those stereotypes. Especially when it comes to the elves. Oh my gosh. I'll talk about that in the next break. Because this is just too much. Let's get back to the book, shall we? Oh. It took a while for Frederick to cool down, but he still did not believe Nicolau was related to him. He decided to visit Señor Pujadas. During his visit, Mariona couldn't help but notice the similarities between him and Nicolau. They are both nice, but could be hotheads any second. They had similar facial features, and when they are in awkward situations, they are calm. She knew then that he was indeed their son. Frederick was anxiously waiting in the foyer as Señor Pujadas approached him. "Hello, sir. Is there something you need?" He observed the man and realized he looked familiar, but he didn't say anything. The man looked at him with wide eyes. "You are Señor Pujadas?" "I am he. Is that a problem?" "I remember you. You visited that young man, Nicolau, when he was young." He paused. "I did not know you lived like this." "I was a tutor for him for a few subjects." He gave him a look. "I do not remember seeing you there." "I have been a neighbor of his for many years. In fact, he was a baby when I moved into his neighborhood." Señor Pujadas took that information and puzzled over it. He observed Frederick carefully. Then he realized why the man looked familiar. "You have changed quite a bit, Your Highness," he said as he bowed. What? What made you think I am?" He realized he couldn't say his own name, but also realized he shouldn't have said anything. He covered his face with his hands. "Please, Your Highness, your secret is safe with me. Cassius and I have kept your lives a secret for a long time." "Until recently, that is," he mumbled. He took his hands off his face and looked away from him. "Yes, your children have been living separate lives until now. I do not believe Nicolau is my son." It was quiet for a moment. "You want me to prove he is not, then?" The prince nodded. "I cannot do that, Your Highness. He is your son." Frederick opened his mouth, but Signor Bruno stopped him. "I arrived unexpectedly after your wife gave birth." "Continue," he said after a moment. Signor Chevalier took the baby girl. I was ordered to follow someone who took the baby boy. When he found a good home for the boy, I made a note of where it was. Ever since, I would visit them once or twice a year. The couple became fond of me and wanted me to tutor him. I guess my tutoring became a regular visit. You remember me. Nicolau is your son, whether you like it or not. It became quiet for some time. I was busy running from the riot that night. I saw Mediona in pain and watched some of the servants lead her somewhere. He paused. I thought they were taking her somewhere safe. They did take her somewhere safe, to have her twins, Senor Pujadas whispered. It did not cross my mind until the next morning. I did not see her for 2 days. Tears filled his eyes. I was afraid something happened to her, to the baby. It was quiet for a long time. What do we do now? He looked at the Senor. Surely Mariona will not intrude on her brother's rule. Our children are not ready. That is not true, he interrupted the prince. Caprice and Nicolau were raised well. I tutored Nicolau to know the history of Menavia, among other things. Cassius Baldwin trained Caprice on every task he could think of. Why, I believe she even knows how to use a sword. The prince gave him a wide-eyed look. What would a lady do with a sword? Her adopted mother died this year. Her father died when she was young. How would a young lady survive without defense, all the way from Altrova? Frederic sighed. I should go. Dinner shall be ready soon. He raised his brows with a hungry look. Mediona can cook a mighty fine meal. Senor Pujadas laughed. They walked to the front door. I shall think about how to bring your family together, Your Highness. I am certain Prince Nicole would want to see if you are still alive. The prince agreed. Thank you, Senor Pujadas, he said. And there I will take another quick break. I think I'm having a heartburn. Ow. Okay, let's get going. Let's get back to the book. For days, it was quiet. Caprice was getting popular with her outfit-making business. Nicolau visited her often. Though he had apologized earlier that week, he rarely talked to his adopted parents. Prince Frederic and Princess Mariona decided to talk to them, to see if they knew what he knew. Thank you for letting us come in, Mariona said. It is our pleasure. After all, we finally get to meet. She smiled. It is better than bumping into you during our family picnic. That young man is all you... Do you not have more children? Frederic asked. It was quiet for some time. We do not talk much of her, the man told them. She died when she was young. There became an awkward pause. Frederic was biting his lower lip as Mariona looked around nervously. Please do not be nervous. You are curious. Do tell us about yourselves, her husband said. Once again, Frederic bit his lower lip. He looked at Mariona. What Well, we keep to ourselves, really. We do not get out much. What do you mean? The man asked curiously. Now they are acting as if they are hiding something, the adopted father thought. The only time we do is to check our fruit and vegetable gardens. The woman gazed at the royal couple for a while. I am curious, when did you move here? We moved here 14 years ago, right about the time Prince Nicole started to rule Menavia, I believe. Frederick told. Yeah. We had our son around that time, if I remember correctly. I remember we tried to guess when he was born so we could adopt him. Sweetheart, no one wants to... Menavia interrupted him. I apologize for interrupting, but that is why my husband and I are here. I do not understand, the man said with confusion. Dear, I believe Nicola was telling the truth. Menavia and Frederick gave her a wide-eyed look. Her husband looked at her. They are his parents. And that's where I stop. Bing! Well, I suppose that is it. There is a slight chance I will move some of my Camp Nano talk after the book reading. Just because, sometimes I talk too much and make my breaks longer than anticipated. So, who knows? And if so, it'll happen right after this. Okay, I'm going to talk about Camp Nano just a little bit more, just because I want to explain, what this book is about. I don't remember if I told you guys, and I would like to say it again. This is actually a Christmas moral book, my first one ever. So it's going to be really interesting of how it all turns out. So far it's I'd say 60% to my expectations. About 10-15% to unexpected turns, and the rest I still haven't figured out yet. So anyways, it's about Rebecca. She's the main character, but she's also the antagonist. She had a good childhood, but her high school experience was just down the toilet. And because of that, and the influence of what happened during that, it made her disapprove of just about anything. She's pessimistic about life. She doesn't help anyone anymore. And so at this point in her life, which she's in her 60s, I believe, she is experiencing these weird wintry happenings where she's walking in the snow, either admiring the view of all the snow on the trees and buildings and stuff, or she's just trudging through snow just to get away from her family. But when the snow stops, she is in a different town. Hence the Christmas dimension. She meets Santa Claus and Mrs. Claus, and all the elves, all the people there that are supposed to be elves, they're not elves. They're not little people. Well, some are. It's just everyone, of every race, every height, and their facial features are different. And they do have pointy ears, but it's not actual pointy ears. It's like the Bluetooth thing to communicate with each other, which is pretty cool. I'm excited about this book. And I'm just meeting the word count every day of what I'm trying to get to the specific word count I chose for the total month. It's pretty exciting. And so, I will bid you all adieu now. I hope it is getting a little dark, so I will do the next part tomorrow, possibly. And I know I have to get all this stuff uploaded by Sunday before midnight, so who knows. I will do my best to upload them on time. So I will, as I've said before, I will bid you all adieu. This is the Esperanza 243, signing out.